My name is Pablo Serrano, and in collaboration with photojournalist Mateo Zapata, Pilsen Fest co-founder Richard Morales, founder of Maggie Speaks Dave Calzaretta, and executive director of Latinos Progresando Luis Gutierrez, we are coming together to open La Esquina, a youth-centric community center.
To answer your questions directly, why do this project? After this devastating pandemic and a year of protests and mobilizations for social justice, we understand the critical need to do everything in our creative power to give back and help educate and empower our communities with regard to these collective challenges. To do this, we are building a space that focuses on interdisciplinary and multimedia approaches to cultural production and educational work. What do we hope to accomplish? We want to offer as many free classes and workshops as possible with this funding. These classes would take place after school and on weekends and would offer opportunities for you to engage in real-world opportunities to be a part of different artistic and musical projects like murals, music festivals, podcasts, zines, screen printing, digital media, art shows, community meetings, music classes. Who will be involved? By July, we will be operating, and our network of volunteers and supporters is going to expand to incorporate different voices and talents to the La Esquina community. This group will then support programming to the benefit of all of our community members interested in learning more and being a part of these classes and initiatives. Our interests is in serving families and on young adults who fall into the gap between high school and increasingly expensive colleges and universities. When and where it might take place? This work will happen primarily at La Esquina, but we are intending to connect the educational work of La Esquina with real-world opportunities that we, as professionals, are a part of. We are all professionals working on large-scale projects all over the city. We hope to connect our students to these opportunities. So La Esquina is our home base, but Chicago is our city. About 10 years ago, I led and funded the creation of two murals on the intersection of Carpenter and Cullerton Streets, here in my lifelong home, Pilsen. This intersection was known in this part of the community as a problematic site where gang violence would flare up consistently through gang graffiti or outright gun violence. As someone now raising a family, I was seriously concerned about living with this a block away, not just for myself, but for the numerous families who also call this neighborhood their home. A good friend, Luis Gutierrez, executive director of Latinos Progresando, who lived down the street, asked me if there was something we could do to posit an alternative, and we went to work developing the first mural, Community Awakens in Us All, in collaboration with the Laila Salgado and Elevarte Community Studio and graffiti artists from the area. That year, an artist friend, Jeff Evi Maldonado, lost his only son, J-Def, to gun violence about 3 blocks away, and we incorporated his memory and his poetry to the mural. It was and remains a powerful collaboration that reaffirmed the hope I continue to have that we can make a difference if we organize, connect, and express ourselves to the world. 2 years later, we embarked on the Americanos mural that was painted outside a corner grocery store called Boni's. That project was a collaboration with One Summer Chicago youth through Elevarte, the building owner Cano, and we were able to do this 2-story mural for 6 weeks that summer in 2012. That year in the fall, we lost another young community member, Francisco Merino, to gun violence blocks away from this corner. Francisco was best friends to Jadef, who was killed 2 years before. A month ago, the grocery store closed and created a hole in this intersection that we are going to fill with what we call La Esquina Cultural Center. La Esquina is a Spanish translation to the corner, and we are planning on developing this space into a home for the energy I and my partners experienced when we produced these 2 murals for the community. La Esquina is a home for the development and empowerment of youth and young adults looking for somewhere to channel their creative energy. We are blessed here in Pilsen to have a lot of creative citizens doing powerful things as individuals, but we lack in community spaces where that creative capital can flow back to the next generation in meaningful and consistent ways. La Esquina is our commitment to create such a space and work in dynamic ways to transform troubled corners into neighborhood capitals for creative and humanizing production and collaboration. To conclude, we are viewing La Esquina as a much-needed model to help inspire ourselves and other communities to do the same in their own ways, to transform troubled corners into important cultural centers. This is the start of a lifelong campaign to connect our communities and help as many of our youth get involved with more constructive life paths. We are confident that once people see the movement building we are undertaking, that we will start seeing the change in our worlds. Your support would help us focus on the hard work of outreach and engagement to youth who need these alternative spaces. Thank you.